Senator Hartley and co-chair Representative Simmons, ranking members Martin and Buckby. I'm here to testify in favor of 5759. It is a House caucus bill. I think it dovetails nicely into Representative John Michael Parker's proposal on providing some additional funding for our arts and tourism. Throughout this whole pandemic, we've seen those industries be hit particularly hard. And one of my concerns overall with the way we've seen this pandemic play out is our executive order process is sort of a light switch. You know, it's on or off, and the governor has extraordinary power. Certainly, rightfully so in the beginning, we didn't know what we were anticipating. Businesses had to be shut abruptly. And we saw some slow, gradual reopenings in different phases being put forth. As a business owner, one of my personal experiences, and I think experiences from others, especially in the hospitality industry, is not knowing what is going to happen tomorrow. And so there were certain deadlines that were set, and they were anxiously waiting for the guidelines to come out. And what we found were that businesses were impacted more so than others because they didn't have the time to be able to anticipate a reopen, giving them that certainty so that they're able to, schedule or book their events. For instance, the latest reopening of the sports industry, which I'm a part of, we were given 3 days notice of what the guidelines were. It didn't give individuals a lot of time to set up schedules, to book events out. And I think there was additional lost revenue because of that. And so what we're asking for is when these orders come out to provide a minimum of a 10-day notice, if there is an emergency that exists where we need to react sooner because there is a spike or some additional evidence that comes forward needing a quick reaction, we would provide the executive branch that flexibility. But as a policy, we think it's important that we try to provide this certainty to businesses. And with that, I'm happy to take any questions. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much, Representative Candelora. Your message resonates. This has been very imperfect, and we have had to react, in knee-jerk fashions as we've gone through this. It's the fine line between being nimble and then also providing, that upfront notice as best can be done. And I appreciate your message, in particularly for small businesses. So thanks for bringing this forward to us. And we will continue to, talk about this and go through our process. So with that, questions from, let's see here, my colleagues. Okay, Representative Nucio, you have your hand up, do you? Yes.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. Thank you, Representative Candelora. So I happen to have family that are in the small tourist, like restaurants and stuff like that. And I know there was a really big hoopla, rightfully so, around the reopening of barbershops and health supplies and health providers. I'm sorry, it's early. So the impact to business on this, I know, is rather big, especially when they have to react. And understanding that, as you said, if there's an absolute emergent situation and we may have to close someplace, absolutely agree with that. But I am supportive of giving people the amount of time that they need to prepare for this. So in your industry, what you had to deal with, can you kind of quantify some of the impacts to business when the notice is not given, to give them even just a few days to respond, in particular, even when we're going up? So when we're looking at now with the restaurant industry to say it's going to go to 10 o'clock or it's going to go to 11 o'clock, the scheduling and the impact that has on those businesses from inventory and everything else. Can you kind of elaborate a little bit more on that?
Yeah, I think so. Generally speaking, I think a few of the factors is, to your point of scheduling employees, if orders come out on a Friday and it's effective on a Monday, you're looking at employees having to be paid overtime potentially because it's the end of the work in order to adjust for these new sector rules. in terms of ordering product, especially for restaurants or food industries. A lot of those orders come in on a Friday. So being able to have that time to order product that's necessary or to cancel orders. As we saw in the beginning of the pandemic, a lot of food went to waste, and they ended up, trying to, give it to people that are food insecure or go to homeless shelters or food banks to make up for that. And I understand back in April and May and March, that was a necessity. We couldn't avoid it. But I would like us to try to avoid it in the future. I don't anticipate, as time is going on, I think this bill may not be as necessary as it was maybe 2 months ago. But I think it's good to have this vehicle out there and conversation out there in case we move forward and we're looking at a protracted executive order situation. Because we could avoid these kind of pitfalls, and really every dollar that a business could mitigate is important. Thank you.
There's also a pretty large impact to the employees, and a lot of the employees, as we've all learned and has been reiterated to us, a lot of these employees are the lower wage employees, whether they're waitresses working on tips or bartenders or people in the service industries. They have to also react to this. So with an extension of hours or a shorting of hours, you're talking people having to provide daycare or transportation and all kinds of other things. Did you see a lot of that in the industry that you're looking at? I know I saw it from the perspective of the restaurant industry.
Yeah, absolutely. And we certainly do have a lot of that pivoting. And so, I think it's something important that we should take into consideration, in the executive branch as we're moving this forward. And sometimes, giving the orders to open up businesses is a great thing, but timing also matters, even if we're opening, not just closing.
Right. Thank you. I think that's all that I have. Thank you very much.